welcome to the Swift Half, your weekly session of chat from the UKOCR and adventure running scene. Each week, pub landlord Alan and our favourite regular Ian discuss races, runners and anything else that comes to mind. So pull up a pew, pour yourself a drink and join us for the Swift Half.
You're listening to the 15th most popular podcast. For those who know, the M25 is London's equivalent to the Great Wall of China.
Ian, my friend, welcome to the Swift Half again. How are you?
I'm great, Alan, and we're still here.
Hey, we're alive. Only just, mind you. I'm only just alive, I think. Have you had massive... For anyone who's listening who doesn't know, and I think all our regular listeners know, we almost died at the weekend doing high rocks, which we'll come to in a minute. But I've had massive DOMs since then. How about you?
Not so much. I didn't actually have to do that much. Just had to run around a track and hold on to a weight when you were feeling tired. So, no, on Monday, I really struggled walking up and down stairs. And then I went and did something in the gym that night and also did some Pilates. And actually, I think the Pilates really helped.
Oh, well, okay. So you're all right. I'm not. I'm in massive pain. But there's a bigger pain, Ian. Them blue shirts. They look like I've been on the beer all Christmas. How big do they make my beer belly look?
Well, when I put it on, Alan, I did think these were not flattering at all. I tend to wear baggy shirts. I'm skinny fat. I am not that fat, but I'm also not built either. So a shirt like that, which cuts underneath what's after the belly, yeah, it didn't make us look good, did it?
Great for the photo because everyone saw these blue shirts, but yeah, I look massive. I can't believe how big I looked. The camera must put on at least double your weight. I think that's what the camera does. Not in the camera, not very.
Well, we say the camera adds £10, and I suspect about 30 cameras were on us.
That's actually spot on, Ian. That's what I'm going to say all the way through now. There were too many cameras on us, and that's why it made us look £300 everywhere.
I'm just thinking we should probably confirm to the listeners that this is recorded. We are still around. This hasn't been recorded a few weeks ago. We haven't just stashed this in the can. Should we talk about some recent news stories? So just confirm it is us.
Well, yeah, we can do that in a minute. But before, I haven't asked you what you're drinking. You're jumping ahead of the game here, Ian. Well, and I've actually got someone who's messaged me earlier to tell me that they're drinking tonight while they're open to listen to this tomorrow. So what are you drinking, Ian?
I'm actually finishing off my Tango tour. I finally moved on to Tango Orange. I know I've been going through all the various flavors, but today, courtesy of Tesco Meal Deal, because where else we have on Tango Orange.
Oh, nice one. Nice one. I'm back on the beer. I don't know why after the photos of the weekend, but I am on Farmer's Belgian Blue, which is from a local brewery near me at Bradfield in Sheffield. And I was walking around there on Sunday. So after High Rocks on Saturday, I was walking around that area Sunday, decided to call in, get myself a couple of beers. So I'm on that today. So yeah, that's me, which is good. Let's go news then. But let's go IROX first, because obviously then we can get IROX out. No, let's wait for IROX because I've got someone coming in to talk to us. Let's talk about.
Well, let's first confirm that we're still around. So we can do that by saying the Rugby League Challenge Cup was drawn on Monday, so people can go and check this out. And it's obscure enough that they know it's really us. And Oldham Rugby League are going to play Barrow. You can go and check that out. No one will care who's listening to it, but that's proof of life for you.
And Robbie Williams hasn't yet bought Port Vale.
Don't believe Robbie Williams has bought Port Vale. I'm not sure.
But that was in the news. That's the only news I've seen today, that Robbie Williams apparently was going to buy Port Vale.
Oh, you might have dated us now, because the Barrow versus Oldham would still be valid on Friday, whereas for all we know, Robbie Williams might have been abducted by aliens between time of recording and when this comes out.
So breaking news, people, Robbie Williams has been abducted. Now they know we're not, if that happens now, they'll know we're not dead, won't they?
They'll be a bit worried and asking us for lottery numbers. Should we
Oh,
talk
let's go to
OCR
some.
news?
Let's talk some proper OCR news. I'm going to go with a bit of boss first because this morning, me and you talked, and we had very little news apart from High Rocks, didn't we? That was about it. We was going to have to waste a whole hour talking about High Rocks. So you put a message out, and then I put a message out, and before we know it, an hour before the show, we've got like lots and lots of topics, which is good. Which is good because it means that people listen to us and want to hear about us. So I'm going to go out first of all with British Obstacle Sports Club Development, Ian. So this came from Tim Crangle for me. It looks like British Obstacle Sports are going to roll out a club affiliation program that's going to get like, so at the minute, in the UKOCR series, we have these teams and that, don't we? So we have the Team Viper, Team Nuclear Phoenix, Team Nuts, Obstacle Mud Runner Magazine, Rumble Fitness, all of these teams, Team Raw. And I'm sorry if I haven't mentioned else, but there's lots and lots of teams out there. It looks like they're going to do a club affiliate. Go on.
I've got one with Team UKOCR, which consists of all the athletes in the top 10 who don't write a team in it.
You're quite right. And there's the Team UKOCR as well. Well, it looks like they're going to be affiliated. So are you a member of running club? First of all, are you a member of running club? I don't think you are you?
Yes and no. Okay. And
Okay.
I'm not sure whether I should admit this on the podcast, but I'm going to anyway. I am technically a member of the Bad Boy Running Podcast running club because they did it years and years ago, and I do not know how to stop a PayPal continuous payment. So I joined it about 4 years ago. Since that time, every single year it's coming out of my PayPal. Alan, this year, result, it actually sent me my money back. I still don't know why. Yet they still sent me the free gifts for being a member.
Oh, nice one. What free gifts did you get?
You know what? I can't remember now. I have no clue.
They've listened to this podcast in and thought, he's not mentioning all free gifts, we're going to send him his money back.
Maybe. A few years ago, they sent something that was quite useful, which they sent a hip flask. I quite like hip flask. This year, I honestly can't remember. I think a pair of sunglasses was one of the gifts, and outside that, I'm not sure. Maybe a flip belt or something. Maybe someone listening to the show is also a member for the same reason I am and can let us know and we'll confirm. Anyway, we've gone way off topic, Alan. You want to talk about running clubs?
Yeah, so I'm a member of running club. I think your fees are due every year at around about March time. I think I pay £30 to be a member of my running club. But one of the good things about it, and I think I might have mentioned this before, is that when you enter races, and there can be any that's like run by Sport England and that, you get discount. Not a great deal. It's usually £2. The races are £15 and £20 anyway. But you put your entry fee in, and you usually get a bit of a discount on it. I wonder, and I hope that this might be a similar thing. So, in theory, we can potentially do away with discount codes, or some events can. And if you're a member of British Obstacle Sports, you would get a discount for that race. But make it more appealing to people.
So let me get this straight about the team affiliation. So what would that be? Would then people no longer be direct members of British Obstacle Sports? They'd be members of a team which then feeds into British Obstacle Sports.
That's how running clubs work. So I'm a member of Kingston Runners in Barnsley, and that makes me a member of Sport England. I believe it's Sport England. So I wonder, it could be. That would be interesting, that.
It's probably something to still be developed, and it was a rhetorical question. I've now got another question. Kingston Runners in Barnsley. Please explain.
It's a little village in Barnsley called Kingston. That's all it is. It's just that there's two running clubs in Barnsley. There's actually three, because there's Penistone Runners as well. So Penistone Fell Runners, Kingston Running Club, and Barnsley Running Club. And I joined Kingston Runners. It's a very social running club. So it's not necessarily, Barnsley Running Club is very competitive. They're very much, we want to win, we want to do this, we want to do that. Penistone Fell Runners, a little bit too far out for me to join them. So I joined Kingston, it's right in the centre of Barnsley, if I'm honest. And they take over the park run. about 4 times a year, if not more, and put paces on and things like that. And they're very social that way. So I thought it seems good to me. I wanted to join a running club. That was the one I chose.
Did they make cider by any chance?
No, they don't. No. I bet somebody in the club makes cider because I know they make homebrew. We only go to the AGM. There's usually someone fetching bottles of homebrew with them.
I'm just thinking, Kingston Press, I think it's from around your neck of the woods.
Is it Kingston? See, now you've got me now. I want to know where that is. That's a brewery, I'm going to assume.
It was a cider which used to be the last obstacle at Tough Mudder. Move over electroshock therapy. Here's some cider that will taste like it's burning your throat off. The only reason I'm saying this is they also used to sponsor the rugby leagues. That's a mouthful, which suggests to me it must be either Lancashire or Yorkshire because no one else cares. Have you figured it out?
Yeah, Aston Manor Cider Mill on the banks of the River Severn.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's Nottingham way, yeah?
Nottingham way, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, no,
River
that's
Severn
Trent.
runs through Nottingham.
No, Nottingham's Trent.
Is
Where
it?
the hell's Severn?
So, see, now I'm going to Google River Severn. No, I'm not going to Google River Severn. Someone tell us. Aston Manor Cider Mill. Kieran, you're the man for this. You know, you tell us.
So, moving on, have we got anything else to talk about with Team Think? Seeing we went on a massive tangent there.
We haven't, no. But if anyone is interested, please email clubs@britishobstaclesports.org. There's an affiliation agreement on the website as well. So check it out. If you're a member of a club, you want it affiliated. I wonder if we can get UKOCR affiliated. That'd be a good one. I'm going to check it out and fill in the form, see what it entails.
Are you sure? We already get in enough trouble when we get nominated for awards.
Yeah, well, that's a whole different kettle of fish. We can still be a club.
Very true. Very, very true. Speaking of which, are tickets still available? Are there any left?
For the awards, yes, they are. There's tickets for the awards and there's tickets for Nuclear 3K still available. So yeah, it is up. There's a few left. Please come, please enjoy us. It's only £60. Your £60 is going to get you into the hotel for the meal, the dancing, the awards ceremony, everything. It's something not to be missed. So get yourselves down there. Hit me up, admin@ukocr.com, or go onto our website, ukocr.com. Check out the awards. Just say awards 2023, because remember, we are doing them to celebrate the 2023 awards, not 2024 yet. That'll be next year.
2023 achievements is what we're celebrating.
We are. Let's talk High Rocks, because we have just got a guest walk in the pub, Ian. Yeah. And they did High Rocks at the weekend. And she's also the voice of the latest pint-size OCR intro. Michelle Carney, welcome to the podcast.
Good evening, gents.
That voice, Ian, how good's that as an intro? Like, isn't that good for the pint-size OCR?
It is a really good voice. We were just talking about cider and we found out that Kingston Press is on the River Severn. Have you any idea where the River Severn is, Shell?
Apparently it's near Birmingham. It's like west of Birmingham.
Okay.
Midlands,
so completely, yeah. So nothing to do with Barnsley, nothing to do with rugby league, apparently.
Absolutely nothing at all to do with Barnsley. There's enough Barnsley on this podcast right now. We don't need any more.
Yeah, did you know that, Ian, that Michelle's from Barnsley as well?
I heard a rumour she was from near Barnsley. I wasn't sure how close to Barnsley she was.
Very close originally. Very close. About 4 miles, 5 miles maximum, Michelle?
Yeah, right on the Rotherham-Barnsley border, initially. Barnsley born and bred.
Rotherham-Barnsley border. That sounds like the USA, Mexico border.
It's not far off. It's not far off.
No, to be fair, that's a friendly border. That's a friendly border. It's the Manchester-Yorkshire border that's the Mexican-American one.
Does Manchester actually have a border with Yorkshire? That's an interesting
It's called
question.
the Pennines. It's called the Pennines.
Yeah, but now we're into bones of contention, because depending who you ask, Manchester is surrounded on all sides by Lancashire, which then has a border with Yorkshire.
Are we going off on a tangent again?
Maybe, yeah.
We absolutely.
So Adrian built a wall, up north, for the whole of England and Scotland, that God prior to him built a wall to separate the red rose and the white rose. You know, it's a wall. The Pennines is a wall to me.
Something
interesting about that is, do you know the House of Lancaster?
Yeah, which is
It was
Lancashire.
actually based in York.
Yeah, no, I know that. I thought that was quite funny when I read that.
York was actually based down in London.
Yeah, I know. I don't get it either.
So, anyway, should we talk about High Rocks?
Let's talk High Rocks, which was in Manchester.
It was.
And Michelle crossed the border to take part. Michelle, what do you think about it?
Oh my God, I still hurt now.
You've still got the DOMs, yes!
I decided to test your theory and decide, is High Rocks for anybody? Can you do it without any specific training? And the answer is, yes, you can, but you probably shouldn't.
I'll vouch for that. I'll vouch for that without a doubt. I was more prepared this time. At least I'd done at least 100 lunges in the back garden. That was about it. And so I was slightly more prepared myself. Did you not do no preparation whatsoever then? Just the running?
I decided that High Rocks in Manchester would be a really good time to push and pull a sled for the first time ever and do a wall ball for the first time ever. It really wasn't. Spoiler alert.
I was going to say, I did see you try to take revenge on your judge carrying wall balls by launching the ball at his head. It's a nice trick shot. It was like the Harlem Globetrotters, Alan, you know, where they bounce it off. John managed to somehow, I've never seen this happen before, get the wall ball coming off at an angle.
Yeah, no. I managed to bounce it off the target and like nearly take out my judge with like 4 wall balls left to go. My ball was just like off. I had to go running after it and everything. It wasn't great. However, if that judge is listening to this, that man was the most kind judge I have ever come across in my entire life. And he absolutely gave me reps that I would not have given myself.
I think we might have had one or two of them.
Yeah, I'm adamant on some of those. I hit the men's target and he still gave them me. But I'm like, are you sure? But I weren't arguing with him by that point.
Actually, that's a nice mini segue, Alan. On Sunday night, we went out for a meal. Sadly, Shell couldn't join us because she had to eventually go home. So went for a meal with Claire and Mike and the intern Jen. And Claire and Mike were talking about how many wall balls they got no rep on. And Mike jokingly said, "Yeah, but not as many as Alan." And I pointed out that, to the best of my knowledge, Alan hardly got any no reps. Now, whether or not there should have been no reps is neither here nor there. But I think, Alan, you got maybe 3 or 4 total, and I don't think I got many at all. So we did well.
Yeah, we did. I think they gave me no reps right at the beginning. I got a couple of no reps right at the beginning, and then I got 1 or 2 nearer the end. But yeah, they were generous. You know, I guess my aim was good at the target. I've got to give my aim was good, but I'm not convinced that my squatting was good.
My squats were okay, and on all bar 2 of the balls, my aim was okay. I just weren't very good at catching the ball afterwards.
How, looking at IROCs, Michelle, and you're looking at Tough Mudder, and we know you do a lot of Tough Mudders and that. What can OCR take from High Rocks? Because, you know, I love High Rocks atmosphere personally. We don't get it at some of the OCR events. What do you think maybe we should do on OCR?
I think the really big standout difference in terms of the atmosphere is that no matter where you are on course at High Rocks, you're right in the thick of it and there's people everywhere. There's spectators watching, cheering you on. Whereas at a lot of OCR events, once you're out in the depth of course, there's nobody there. So it's really open and quiet. Whereas at High Rocks, there's just constant noise and constant volume. I went on my own. I had no spectators with me other than Ian, Jen, Mike, Claire, who cheered me on in bits. I had nobody there to physically follow me around and cheer me on. But at no point on that course did I not have somebody cheering me on. And I think that is a massive difference, especially when you're in the pain cave and you hit a wall, and then all of a sudden you run around the corner and there's just somebody there in your face going, "Come on, you've got this, keep going." And you're like, "Okay, yeah, okay, I don't want to look like an idiot in front of you. I'll keep going." And we don't get that at OCR because of the fact that it is in the middle of the field in somewhere and it's not necessarily easy for a spectator to get there.
Yeah, I get that. Ian, what was the results?
It's such a good. Oh, I was going to say that's just a good point by Shell there, that race directors probably don't think enough about that, of how easy it is to draw your obstacles into one area and then have people looping out. Yeah, maybe put out smaller obstacles there so that people just don't stay in the middle and don't do the runs. But you do this very well, particularly with Farmyard Jam, in that you've got all the obstacles in one place, Alan. And I think that really helps build that atmosphere.
It does. I've said that all along. Whenever we put overload on, we try and have two specific areas for obstacles. So we've always got our water section, and we have quite a few obstacles down there. And then we have the main event village where we have obstacles very much there. It's always what I wanted to do. Every event I've been involved with, I've tried to do that. It is tough. Do you think this is why maybe the 3K racers are making a big impact? You know, like at Forders last year and things like that, that there seems to be a lot of people now wanting to go to the 3K races and to take spectators and all that.
Yeah, I think it does, particularly, and this is what High Rocks has actually improved on, because we've been going 3 years now in the UK, we're going longer elsewhere. But what was really useful over the weekend was the workout stations were in a logical order. I don't think we touched on this, but because half the race was one side of that Thunderdome, the other half was on the other side, it was relatively easy for me to follow Shell and follow Jen at the same time, because Jen was running at the same time. So as Shell came into one workout station, Jen would be either just leaving or just about to arrive at one, and it was a small walk. And that's what, again, OCR guys could learn from by having the obstacles so fans could easily get to them. So you watch them doing one thing, and then obstacles, say you watch them do obstacle 1, maybe have obstacle 3 just behind them.
Yeah.
So you can easily, because I find with, for example, Tough Mudder, which is great, and it's probably one of the, by far the best when it comes to spectator. What would you say? Helping out spectators or spectator
it has a route, doesn't it? It has is it the purple route? It has a little route on the map, doesn't it, to show where spectators go? Yeah.
So you have that, but sometimes for me to follow someone, I have to run alongside them to get to the next obstacle. Whereas
you do, yeah, you do.
With a little thought, they could send the runner on a little bit of out and back, and I'm in the same place.
Yeah, I think that would be great. I think a lot of racers need to have a look and see what happens, and I think that is why things like IROCs are taking off, and especially from a spectator point of view, people want to go with your friends and your family. You know, I said this the other week, having Paula there shouting me on, and the Ravens and that, everyone who was shouting us on. It was amazing. It made me feel, even though we weren't necessarily racing, we were aiming to complete. It was great to hear our name shouted in.
I think the big problem with OCR as well is you might have obstacle 5 might be on the spectator route, and then there's nothing until obstacle 13. So there might be an hour or two before your runner comes that you're there to spectate, by which point the spectators have got bored and gone back to the village.
Yeah, that's a valid point as well.
Yeah, it so is. And I miss having a big screen as well when it comes to OCR, because that was always useful. I'm not sure if Nuclear still do it. Do they still have their screen out?
I didn't go last year. I'm going to be honest now. So I didn't go down to Nuclear last year, but I do know they do now have a big screen up, which it usually shows the death slide. So they usually have it up showing the death slide, because that is quite a way out. You know, spectators can't get to that. I don't think they can. I've never seen one down there. So they usually have the zip line and the death slide on the big screen, and it flicks to one or two other places than that. But those are the two main. I think what people will talk about racing in a bit, and I think that people want to be able to see the racers racing. as well as the fun runners having fun out there. And I think that's the whole key to it now. We need to sort of look at the picture of the whole and see what we can do to make. And I don't say I want to congest it, because I'm not a fan of the 3K races in terms of I like to run long distances. I see it's got a great spectator venue, but I'm sure we could get a 6K race in such a short venue as well. If we were doing, what's the one in Europe, the Will went to, where it was like literally lanes of obstacles where you ran up lanes and back down.
That's toughest race. We've had it once, I think.
Was that toughest? No, it wasn't toughest. No, that was different lanes on different obstacles. There is one race I know where, and I don't know where it is. It'll come back to me. I hope I find it, and I'll copy and paste it into some notes. But you literally run up and down lanes, and the spectators can literally just follow you, and come back and see you really, really easy. They say that's a great spectator event.
Such a good idea. And yeah, I do think that is what High Rocks has. It has lots of things. It has big production values, but having the ability, if you can get spectator tickets, for having all your friends there, and it becomes a day out, it actually becomes like old school Tough Mudder, in that you go out and you're all there for the whole day. There are some things that Tough Mudder still does better than High Rocks. I think the village experience in Tough Mudder is still better than High Rocks. High Rocks, as much as I love it, hasn't yet got that ability. They had it at one point. They've not got that everyone meets up after and chats like you do at a Tough Mudder. Maybe that's because there's too many people, so you just can't do it. You don't have enough space. But when My Zone was there, and you had the My Zone area, you had that kind of Tough Mudder Village thing where people could just go there and just hang out.
I do think that side of it worked a little bit better in Manchester this year than last year, because of the fact that they had that outside of the arena. So if you were, from a spectator's point of view, if you were there all day and you just wanted to get away from the hustle and bustle a little bit, you could go out of the arena, sit and chat to people, go and look around the stalls. Whereas last year, that was all in the arena, and trying to do that, you just couldn't move for people.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. And I think the bit in the registration area became almost like an unofficial meetup spot for a lot of people, but there weren't tables and chairs out there. I know you want me to go through results of High Rocks, and I will shortly, but can I just ask Shell a few more questions about her High Rocks experience?
Yeah.
Shell, as a first timer and someone who didn't really, you knew High Rocks, you'd spectated High Rocks, you obviously listened to all 125 episodes of the Best High Rocks podcast out there, and you listened to Fitness Racing podcast as well. Sorry.
Oh, you beat me to it. I was going to say we should listen to Rocks Live.
But yeah, so you weren't a complete rookie, but what surprised you the most about your High Rocks experience?
I mean, like you said, I do know the rules. I knew the movement standards going into it. So even though I knew the movement standards, I expected to get no repped a little bit more. Didn't get anything other than the 2 wall balls that I actually no repped myself. He was going to give me them. I wouldn't let him. Having never pushed or pulled a sled, I went into those sleds terrified I wasn't going to be able to move them, and was pleasantly surprised. If you're a first timer, absolutely train. Do the specific training, because I think I went into the burpee broad jumps knowing I hate burpees. Everybody hates burpees. If you don't hate burpees, you're a weirdo. But what surprised me about that was I actually didn't mind the burpees that much. The broad jumps were what sucked massively. They were horrible. I'd have happily done more burpees to avoid doing more broad jumps, and I never thought I'd say that. And don't go into it having not done a wall ball, because they are the most unnatural feeling movement you can possibly do, and trying to figure out the technique for them whilst doing them at the end of the race when you're dying is really not a good idea. So learn from my mistake. Don't do that. Practice wall balls.
It's interesting you say that about the burpees, because I was there with a work colleague, as you know, and Victoria was part of the people coming supporting you, Shell, if you recall.
She was
And
great.
she really, really was. And fingers crossed she'll be doing it next year. She pointed out something I hadn't realized about the burpees, which is for most people, they just take a ridiculous amount of time. Time stands still
Yep.
unless you're a McIntyre doing the burpees.
Yeah, absolutely. They just, and I think they feel like they take longer than they do. I use the step up, step down technique, and I'm quite lucky that I'm quite flexible in my hips. So getting my feet up to my hands is not a problem. But even then, it just felt like it took forever. They just seemed to go on and on. I remember turning to Mike at one point and just going, "These suck." And he just looked at me and went, "It could be worse. You could still be over the other side." I'm like, yeah, good point. But yeah, they're horrible.
Yeah, it's surprising. Like Alan was reading out our results on the Fitness Racing podcast. I think for burpees, we were sub 7 minutes. But trust me, that is the longest 7 minutes of my life. I thought
Yeah.
we were there for a good 20. I had no idea that we'd actually done them faster than some of our running laps because it didn't feel like it, Alan,
No,
did it?
they feel like forever.
But they do. So that was surprising. Did anything go exactly as you expected it?
Lunges went better than I expected them. Having spectated you and Alan last year and see you die on lunges, and knowing how much I hate lunges myself, I went into them expecting to really, really struggle to finish. So my running lap before, I was like, okay, save your legs. Don't run, walk, run, save your legs. The sandbag was so much lighter than I expected to be. I know it's only 10 kilos, but it felt like nothing. To me, the only thing the sandbag did was stop me using my arms to balance myself a little bit more while I lunged. It was the lunge motion. I kind of did the step up, step down, step up, take a couple of breaks. Took me a while. But having finished the lunges, I then came out of them thinking, do you know what? If I'd have known they weren't going to be as bad as I'd expected them, I could have done them faster because I was trying to save myself, expecting them to be worse than they were.
No, that makes sense. And we should say results may vary. Fellows out there, 20 kilograms absolutely feels like 20 kilograms. And 30 kilograms, well, Alan, that feels like 30 kilograms, doesn't it?
It feels like 60 kilograms to me.
But yeah, in actual fact, of all the things, when it comes to the separation between female athletes and male athletes, I do think the lunges is the one station they may have slightly messed up with the weights, but maybe the ladies should be doing 15 kilograms because 10 kilograms doesn't feel enough.
Please, High Rocks, don't change it because, you know, if I do go back next year, please don't make me do 15. But I may regret saying this, but I completely agree with you. I absolutely could have done that with 15. And that's me. So if I can do it with 15, the people who actually train for it can definitely do it with 15.
Yeah. But yeah, anything else to chat about your High Rocks experience, Shell?
I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody who supported me. It was very clear running around the track the amount of people who listened to the Fitness Racing podcast, because obviously you'd said before that I was running it in my Refuge t-shirt. The amount of people who I had no idea who they were shouting, "Come on, Shell, keep going." They can only know that from the podcast. And also to my additional wall ball judge that I seemed to gain. For some reason, they decided I was that bad I needed 2 wall ball judges. The other guy, so I ran in my Refuge t-shirt because I'm doing fundraising for Refuge charity. And when I had 10 wall balls left to go and I'd hit a wall, this particular wall ball judge just looked at me and went, "Remember why you're doing this? Look at your t-shirt. If you've done that, you can absolutely do 10 wall balls. It's nothing to you." Now, at that moment in time, I didn't know whether I wanted to hug him or hit him for playing that card on me, but it absolutely worked. And all of a sudden, I'm like, do you know what? Yeah, I can do 10 wall balls. So massive shout out to all the volunteers, all the spectators, and that particular wall ball, because they were all amazing. And they really do make a difference to getting athletes through to the finish line.
They really do. And Alan, I think I know why there was two refs on Michelle, because we had two refs. I think it's like a WWF thing, back in the day when a referee gets taken out, so another one has to slide in
So
to
that's
get the count
You mean
up.
when your wall ball bounces off and nearly hits a judge?
that's it.
Exactly, because we obviously had the fantastic Hannah who was really good, and she actually she showed Alan he's mixed doubles in Glasgow. So if you see Hannah the wall ball judge at Glasgow doing mixed doubles, give her a cheer, please. Anyone who's listening to this, and we also had Grumpy, who I don't know if he was judging or whether he was just enjoying our pain.
It was enjoying our pain. It was enjoying our pain without a doubt, Ian. He was laughing his socks off at every wall ball we did. And every time I got my hands on my knees and I felt like I was going to throw up, he was there encouraging me to throw up. So, yes, he was enjoying our pain.
Yeah, he gave me some abuse on the sled pull as well. Good
Oh
old
dear.
Grumpy. Gotta love him.
Go love him. Right, should we go through the results, Alan?
Give us some results, yes, Ian.
Okay, in the male pro, first, this blew my mind. There was 179 entries in the male pro.
Oh, wow.
And chief amongst them, number one was Graham Halliday with a time of 58.42, just missing out on an Elite 15 spot. We then had Jake Williamson with a time of 1 hour 33 seconds, so just missing that sub 60. And in third place, we had Adam Cortlett. And what's interesting about Adam is he actually raced in the wave 2 after the leaders. So he was
Right.
running a time trial and came third. That's always impressive.
Yeah, that is always impressive.
So that was the male pro. In the female pro, in first place, we had Kate Davey with a time of 104.09, which puts her, I think, 17th in the Elite 15 rankings. She'll probably get a roll down, so she'll probably be in Vienna. We then had friend of the show, Jade Skillen, 106.45. We then had Zara Piergiani at 110.06. I don't think she had the best race. She admitted afterwards it hadn't all gone to plan, but it was still enough for third place. Can you imagine coming third when you're having a bad race, Alan?
I wish I could come 103rd and still have a bad race.
Yeah, I want bad races like that. Right, let's move to pro doubles. In the ladies, we had Katrine Hume and Sam Bilby, who often run Women's Pro and smash it. They got a sub 60, so 59 minutes 52. We then had Claire Osborne and Ree Sears with 104.23. We then had Rachel Ackers from Forders Gym and Nadine UKOCR with 104.58. In fourth place, I'll give him a shout out because we know him, Olivia Lukovic and Ellie Nelson. Olivia is Team Madness. She's the Canadian person. I think we got Olivia and we sent JFit to Canada. I think that was a good swap.
Good swap.
The men pro doubles, we had in first place Michael Sambach and Hunter McIntyre. And that was a time of 15 minutes and 18 seconds. Then Harry Thompson and James Kelly with 52.04. Jake Dearden and Mark Dean with 53.50. How fast is all this? And then, Alan, this was remarkable, but there was 113 disqualifications for Christmas trumpet. And in fourth place was Ian Kay and Alan Muddyduck with a time of 1:49.52. No idea how that happened.
Well, we've got to take it in, we've got to, it's the rules, isn't it? I mean, it's the rules. Fourth place, I'll take it.
Yeah. It was also last place as well, but
yeah. more better known as last place.
Yeah. Oh, listener, just to confirm, this isn't yet on High Rocks. They're going to update it, so you'll have to check in a couple of years. So if you check it and we're not yet fourth, that's why.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I haven't got no more High Rocks, but there is a good lead there into we just cheated our way into fourth place, and I'll say in the nicest possible way. Before I go to the next topic, Michelle, are you stopping with us, or are you wanting to go? What's your plans?
I've got no plans tonight. I'm happy to stay with you.
Then you can stay with us, Michelle. You can absolutely stay with us. So let's talk about the editor of Runner's World and London Marathon, Ian, because this is breaking news. It's come out today, as we brought to our attention today, that Marathon Investigation, which is one of my favourite sites, have looked at London Marathon results, and basically they are bringing it into question.
Yeah, not just London Marathon, but the London Landmarks Half Marathon as well, where she's missed a timing mark around the 15K mark as well. And after missing that timing mark, remarkably, it's funny how this happened. She suddenly accelerated into the 20 kilometer. It's remarkable how that happens, Alan.
Yeah. So for people who've not seen this, it's on marathoninvestigations.com, and she ran the first 5K in a split of 7:41 minute miles, the next 5K in a split of 7:50 minute miles, and then she ran 10K in a split of 6:19 minute miles. There are no pictures of her on in that 10K. There are no pictures of her in that 10K where she missed the split. Garmin apparently broke, so she put a post out saying that her Garmin broke and she used someone else's Garmin data. However, there are pictures which Marathon Investigation have purchased that shows that her watch was working at the finish line. This is not looking good, Ian. This is someone who's in such a public profile doing something like this. They've clearly stated that they've checked the data on Strava, and basically it's got, I don't know if you know this, but the data on Strava, Ian, actually records one every second. So every second it records exactly where you are, and it puts pins in your map. This was recording approximately one every 40 seconds. And they've said that there's a program out there called GPX Studios, and you can actually create your run on there and make a false run. And they're basically saying that it's speculated that she used GPX Studio to create the run. It's not good, Ian.
Yeah, it's not. And the baffling thing with the London Marathon is she used this program because she doesn't appear on the results because she didn't have a timing chip, which is odd because there is a clear picture of her wearing a London Marathon bib. And as Shell will find this out, and as I found out, guess where your timing chip is, Alan?
It's actually attached to the bib because you can actually see it in one of the pictures. I know it is.
It's attached to the bib. And also with the Landmark Half, her bib changed position, didn't it, halfway through? So in the early parts of the race, you could clearly see a bib. In the later part of the race, her bib had almost been repinned so that you couldn't make out the numbers. It's, yeah, shocking.
It is absolutely shocking. As someone's turned around and said, running London Marathon is a privilege, and it should be run and should be run fair. I think we're quite lucky we don't get this in OCR, or I've never come across. Sorry, I tell a lie. Once I came across someone taking a wrong turning on a purpose, which I called them out on, but I've never ever seen it other than the one time. It's not something that happens. I think we're lucky.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. And do you want to know the weirdest thing about this whole mess? And this is breaking news, so no doubt we'll get some kind of rebuttal from her in the future. But the weirdest thing, she's not a bad runner. There seems to be no actual reason, particularly with that Landmarks Half. Yeah, she finished it officially, although how official it was remains to be seen. 1 hour 30. Had she run the other part of it, what you're probably talking, she could have gone 1:45, maybe 1:50. That's not embarrassing.
It's not at all. She's averaging sub 8 minute miles. Anyone who runs sub 8 minute miles, that's pretty good. That, why she's done it, what's happened, who knows, Ian, but it's not good for when someone's a public figure like that.
No, and Marathon Investigation, we won't go too much into this one, But recently, they also had an article about a teacher in America who it was a marathon with an out and back section that she basically skipped. And then she manipulated her own data to try and prove to a race that she, she had run it legitimately. But the race knew she hadn't run it legitimately. They could use the data and the fact that she'd previously uploaded onto Strava that she'd only done 23 miles. And she kept doubling down. And she's an educator. And she, rather than just say, oh, I got lost, which happens, and voluntarily DQ herself, she just kept suggesting that she had in fact run the entire race.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all, Ian.
I was going to say, Shell, do you have any thoughts on this?
I just don't understand why. What are they gaining from it? Integrity is doing the right thing even when nobody's looking. Just at the end of the day, the only person you're cheating is yourself. So why did she? It's not like she got any particular extra reward for doing it. It's what have you achieved other than ruining your own reputation? Because you're going to get found out in the end.
I think that's the thought, isn't it? It's maybe people who steal things, and I've spoke to quite a few criminals who do shoplift and that they get away with it once, something small, and then they do it again, and once they've got away with it twice, it becomes prevalent. Yeah, I can't say that word. Prevalent, is it? Is it prevalent? That's the word I think I'm looking for. Yeah. Martin will be able to tell me what it is, but yeah, it then builds to bigger things, and maybe in this case, and I'm not saying she's done it before. But I'm saying if she's done it before and got away with it, then she thought maybe get away with it this time. Who would have checked? Not many people are going to check and look that close than what normally happens. The thing is that someone's pulled it up on it and gone to Marathon Investigations and reported her, and they've found the data.
It is, Alan, and like you say, sorry, Shell, what was that?
All right, I was just going to say the only thing she's achieved is every single thing she's ever posted now and every result she's ever got is now in question. How true are they?
Yeah, it's a good point. And Alan, like you say, people who steal, they just get more and more blatant. I heard someone stole a fridge the other week.
This is a classic one, Ian. And I was going to open you was going to lead into this one. So Daniel Fairbrother, a 34-year-old, he was actually stopped by the police in Stevenage with a fridge on his back. He was jogging along with a 25.7 kilogram fridge strapped to his back. The police pulled him over, thought he'd stolen it, and asked him where he got it from. And he said, and this is the way to get away with anything now that you steal, Ian. I'm training for the London Marathon. This is the best thing ever. I'm training for the London Marathon. Luckily, Daniel is training for the London Marathon, and he does run with a fridge on his back. But I'm thinking now, if anyone in Yorkshire listens to this, Shell, you'll vouch for me on this. Anyone in Barnes listens to this, I can see fridges now running down the street on their own, and they're being stopped by the police and saying, I'm training for the London Marathon. They're going to have black masks on, black and white striped T-shirts, black masks on, a big bag with swag on. Police are going to stop and they're going to say, what are you doing? I'm training for London Marathon. All right, no problems. On your way, sunshine.
I can safely say, I'm just going to put this out there. I am training for the London Marathon. I am absolutely not running anywhere with a fridge of any weight on my back. It's not happening.
Well, I'm thinking Shell's eBay activities are going to be really interesting over the next few months as she raises money by selling on flat screen TVs, microwaves, any other home appliances that she just happens to find on her long runs.
Maybe I could rig my runs and then sell my Strava to other people so they can use it for theirs.
Perfect.
Nobody wants to buy my Strava. Nobody wants to buy my Strava data.
Oh God! Right, Alan. What else is on the notes?
Is it the best story ever? That let's stay with something really, really good. Let's go down to Inside Hook. So there's a story come out this week. Our good friend Will Chung is on it. It's all about Tough Mudder and the fall and rise, shall we call it? So the rise, the fall, and the rise back up. It's a really, really good read. Um, Take it away, Ian. You've read it several times, I would have thought.
I'm not actually going to spoil the article because I think good journalism deserves recognition. And I think that everyone who's listening to this should look this article up and read it, because in a land of clickbaity titles that we get a lot now, this is a journalist who's gone out there, reached out to Will Chung, reached out to, I think, Lindsay, Ryan Atkins' wife, Lindsay Webster, to get some quotes, reached out to someone in America, reached out to Matt at Tough Mudder HQ. That is good investigative journalism. And yeah, go and read it. We will share it. But Alan, I think you summed it up. It was basically questioning what's happened to Tough Mudder since 2019. What is the reason that I guess ticket sales are down, and what's going to happen next? So go and read it. We will share it. And it does lead on, Alan, to just an overall feeling within the industry at the moment that we are on a bit of a downward cycle, but we could also be coming back up.
Yeah, very much so. And there's another article that came out today that we've seen about your favourite, the Shropshire Mud Run. So the Flying Dents Wizard Shropshire Mud Run thingamajig. I know you love that one, Ian. And there has been a charity. So a group of runners went round for charity, raised £1,000. That's made the news as well. You know, we are seeing a little bit of OCR in the news, but this is a local mud run, and a local charity's been involved, and it's a good news story.
It is, and it's not just raising money for a local charity. It is a law firm, a local law firm that did it, which then got it newsworthy. And in a way, this is kind of like a target market for a lot of people, is you need to be targeting corporates again. You need to be targeting the law firms, the accountancy firms. Sorry, I can't get my words out tonight. I'll stick my teeth back in. But particularly around this current time, because we're heading into company year end. These are tax write-offs. So any race directors out there, it might be worth just suggesting your race to a company to buy some tickets. What do you reckon, Alan?
Without a doubt, it's the way forward. That's what Mud 7 used to do. And Mud 7 used to hit the charities big time, and the corporate people. And Tough Mud has always hit corporate people. It seems to be a little bit less the last few years I've been, but I know pre-2020, if you went there was literally, the corporate tent was queued bigger than the normal registration area. So yeah.
No, exactly. And I do think that we all need to think a little bit outside the box to try and bring OCR back. And we talked about it at the start of the show when we were talking about the spectator experience and how that can just help sell it to everyone else, particularly a big team. So if you do have a corporate there, it's always nice to be able to invite the rest of the workplace so they can laugh as Jude from accounts face plants into some mud, and Derek, the IT guy, falls backwards doing a trapeze. It's all good. Alan, what other news has there been out there this week?
Talking about getting forward in OCR and that, and I know Michelle's involved in this, but Michelle, you and B would have started a new Facebook group, and I say you've started it. This is not you guys trying to take over anything, but this is about trying to get everyone involved in the adaptive athlete side of things. Am I right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a big hole within OCR. There's not that many adaptive athletes in there, and B obviously is an adaptive athlete, and we've supported her a lot coming into OCR. And it's been about, from B's experience and from Ben Jesson's experience, what can we do to attract more adaptive athletes into the group and into OCR as a sport? And there's a lot of communities within OCR, but there's nothing really specific that's a community feel that's not top-led and fed in, that kind of allows every aspect of the community involved in adaptive athletes. So there's groups out there that are aimed for elite paras. There's groups out there that are very specific that only allow adaptive athletes. But we think in order for adaptive athletes to properly grow, we need support teams in there. We need race directors in there, as well as adaptive athletes, so that they can understand the different needs adaptive athletes have, and how we can support them. So B wanted to set up the group. I agreed to help her. And it's mainly just there to try and create a community feel for adaptive athletes so that they can support each other. We can get hints and tips from other support athletes. If there's somebody new out there who's thinking, do you know what? I want to give this a go in my wheelchair. Is it actually possible? They've got an avenue they can reach out with questions and people to support them coming into the sport. And then once they're in it and they're developed, they can by all means feed into those more elite para groups when they develop. But this is more about trying to grow that side of OCR from the grassroots.
Cool. And this is open to anyone as well, isn't it? We're not talking, you don't have to be a para athlete, as you mentioned earlier on. If you want to be involved in the para athletes any point, or adaptive athletes at any point, if you want to be involved in it in terms of your race director, or you want to join a team that helps people around the course, or you want to just share something that's of interest, then they can join the group.
Absolutely. There are questions to answer to join, but that's mainly to try and stop all these spammers jumping their way into the group. So there are questions just to say, why do you want to be in this group? Just to make sure there's a genuine reason. But yeah, absolutely open to anybody who has any vested interest in growing the adaptive community, whether it's volunteers, marshals, support teams, adaptive athletes themselves, race directors, everybody jump on board. Come join us.
Cool. And if you want to find that, guys and girls, that's UK space OCR, Adaptive and Para Athletes Community. And it's a group on Facebook.
Awesome.
Come join us.
I just want to shout out to B as well, because she mentioned that her favorite Prime flavor. Remember, long-term listeners, we have agreed for Prime to be a sponsor of this show. They haven't agreed yet, but we have absolutely agreed for them to be a sponsor of this show. But her favorite Prime flavor is Ice Pop, which is the one you see with the multicolors. I personally prefer Metamoon. And recently, a cherry came out, Cherry Freeze, which honestly, Alan, doesn't taste that nice. It's too sweet even for me.
I don't know any of these flavors. I don't even touch Prime. I'm not even going there.
Don't say that. They might listen. You've just completely blown the potential sponsorship.
If they're going to sponsor us in, I'll start drinking it. I'll send a story. I will drink it. I'll drink it on show, actually, if they start sponsoring us. Talking about things growing and things like that, and we talked about the 3K earlier on. Did you know there's a 3K race series that's coming out?
I heard rumours, but can you confirm what's going to be on it?
I have actually got a few confirmed races, yes. So it is going to be a series. And all the rules and everything's not being formulated yet, so it's about to be done. But we have got, on the 23rd of March, there is Tartan Warrior, which, if you look at that, that's 3K at Tartan Warrior. Then on the Sunday, on the 24th, there is actually the UKOCR series race up there as well. So we've got two races in one weekend. That's a right idea, that. 22nd of June, we've got Obstacle Gym. And 7th of September, we've got Nuts Challenge. I know Rumble Racing and Fit Body Farm are also going to be involved, but at this moment in time, they have not released their dates for theirs. So watch this space, guys. We'll share this as much as possible. And that. And if you want to go Tartan Warrior, there is a code that would get you £5 off the 3K distance, which is TW3000. That's TW3000, gets you £5 off. Or if you want to do the 100 meters, you can get a code for TW100, and that is £5 off as well. So nip over to it's Tartan Warriors website, Facebook page, and sign up, get some money saved on there.
And when are they valid to, Alan?
They're valid up until 18th of February, or until places are full, because they haven't got many places left. You know what I like about this code as well, Ian, when I was speaking to Gavin earlier on, is that this code is now because there's a price rise. Okay, so there's been a price rise, and if you have missed that price rise, yeah, this will take it back close to that before the price rise. So it's if you've already booked, yeah, this code is not going to get you cheaper. And I like that on a discount code. You should never be able to go cheaper than what the previous price was, even if it was a full price.
I agree. No, I absolutely agree, Alan. And I think we've done to death the topic of how pricing works, and maybe we'll touch on it again, but I completely agree that you should never make people feel shortchanged for having been an early subscriber. So well done. Alan, as well as 3K, I hear that there's other short courses going on as we speak, although you're not taking part against anyone on the course at the same time.
Time trials, Ian. If you remember, we had Body Up the other day. We had Daryl White on from Body Up telling us about the Beast down there. They've had a few runners go now. Ramonas has gone down, clocked up the fastest men's time so far. I think Ramonas is going around all the gyms at the moment and testing all the gyms out. I love seeing his videos on social media at this moment in time. We need to get him to review them all for us and which are the best and things like that. So Ramonas is winning the men's beast, and Shyla Dehaney is winning in the women's. Can't get my words out. We're having a right bad night with words tonight, aren't we? And then in the junior section, Harry Jeffrey is winning. So he was on the OCR pint size this week, which was good to hear Libby and Finley have a guest on. And Izzy Young is winning the junior females as well. So that's doing quite well.
1 second. Shell?
Yeah.
Did you say that Shyla was there at High Rocks this past weekend?
She was, yes. She was in my heat. I saw her at the start line and then didn't really see her again because she was gone. It was like high five.
Yeah, and she did a pair of monkey bars in between each workout stations.
Would not surprise me. There was a rig, 9 billion rigs along the way for her.
She's the one to watch this year in the UKOCR series. She's going to be challenging Feddy and everyone up there this year. If I was going to put money on it, I'd take it each way. I think she'll be either first or second. I think she's coming on leaps and bounds. People have got to watch for her. She's going to be right up there.
Definitely going to be a threat.
Absolutely, Alan. And I will let you know my thoughts on her. I'll write them down, but once we've had a couple of races, I'll release my thoughts to everyone like I always do, okay?
Yeah, you tell us now. There's also another time trial going off. Well, actually, this one goes off on the first Sunday of every month. So down at Wild Forest, first Sunday of every month. And that is the last month's winners were Dan Warren, who had no penalties. So he did the whole course with 0 penalties. Only one other athlete did it that day. That's Andy Durans. And we know Andy's, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, he's getting on a little bit as well. So he's a real master of the masters category. So a big well done to him. And in the women's, Claire Bancroft won the women's.
I'm laughing because you saying someone's getting on a bit, or you and me saying someone's getting on a bit, is like Lenin accusing you of being a communist.
Exactly. I know I'm getting on a bit. Andy would smash me out of the water. I know it would. He's an amazing athlete. Despite his age, he is phenomenal on all the obstacles and things like that. So, and that's this weekend as well. So if you're planning on going to the 3K, UKOCR 3K race down at Nuclear, then you need to hit on this, get down there on their time trial, because the course won't be the same, but you'll get to plan all the obstacles ready for it.
Perfect. And Alan, I think there's one other ninja style.
Yep, so Ninja Warrior UK Gloucester this Sunday, that's the 4th of February at 5 p.m. They've got a time trial going off as well. So if you're down in that area, head down there, join that time trial. Give your obstacle skills and your obstacle proficiency a bit of a test on the Ninja Warrior courses.
And Danny Lister, if you're listening, I know you are, you're down that way. So if you're nothing doing on Sunday and you don't happen to be in Spain or wherever you go on over the holidays that make us jealous, then pop over and tell us how it got on.
Definitely. We've got a lot of racing going off at the minute, though, haven't we? There's a lot of competitive racing. We've got the UKOCR series, Scottish series, endurance series. Shout out there, get a quick sneaky peek in there. UKOCR gets you 10% off the Farmyard Jam, which is the first race of the season and probably the one that's going to be the easiest one to get points at in terms of the amount of athletes taking part, because it's a limited number. Maybe not on the distance you've got to cover. You've got to cover 12 hours, but it's the only real endurance one in the whole series. I'm going to say that right now because it's 24 hours. So it's the only real endurance one.
Oh my, that was a hard sell if ever I heard one.
I will just add, you don't have to do 12 hours to win. You just have to do 12 hours to get full points. If you win and you haven't done 12 hours, you will still score points, just not as many.
Yeah, there's people going to try. I've seen the names that are coming. There's people going to go. People are wanting to try and go. There's only one person made 24 hours. Only one solo runner's made 24 hours. And I'm sure that the people who are coming, I'm hearing rumors of big people coming, and I know some have signed up, and yeah, they're going for 24 hours. They're all talking the game. They did this last year though. You was there, Shell. You was there when they were all talking the game.
Year. Mental.
Yeah. We had James Burton rocked up, Sean Merriweather, big names in the scene.
I think the thing that really mixes it up as well, that makes Farmyard Jam so different to the others in there, is that even things that are multi-lap, like Nuclear and Infinity, if you're fast, you just keep going. Whereas with Farmyard Jam, if you're fast, you've got longer to wait before you can start again. So the muscles are going to start seizing up and getting cold. So it removes that advantage from the faster runners of being able to fly round and messes with their head a little bit more. And I think that's what makes it a little bit unique within the endurance series.
Definitely. Russell Walsh, who's signed up this week, and he's been sending me questions like, during the when he's finished his lap, what can he do? And I went, you do what you want, but you just can't go back out and run. Run around the event village if you want.
As Shell says, it takes the control away from a runner and does mess with your head a little bit. You need a completely different set of game plan and tactics to go in it. And I do like that with the series, and we'll probably have a Who's Hot special, I'm sure, about the endurance series at some point. I'd love them to explore a little bit more about them tactics, because I think every race within it will be slightly different, and that's what makes me excited for it. I really wish it was 3 or 4 years ago where I could potentially do okay in it. Well, not okay by my standards. I wasn't never going to win it, but endurance used to be my thing, and now I need Alan to do most of the lunges at High Rocks. My endurance has gone that bad. So, Alan, is there anything left on the notes? So we got anything else we need to shout out or plug or anything like that?
I've got nothing else on my notes whatsoever, and my notes are complete. Are yours?
I believe my notes are pretty complete. I'm fairly sure we haven't missed an... Oh, yes, one final thing. TM ambassadors have been announced. So if you haven't heard, then get in touch with TM. The other thing is those that have got tattoos, such as the other 2 people in this pub, you've not got your code today or this week as expected. There's been a unexpected hiccup, and you should get it within the next 2 weeks.
Oh, so it's not coming out today, because I was told it was about midnight tonight.
No, there's been a technical issue which has caused them to be delayed, and they will be within a week or 2.
Okay. It's just another week without a cold, that's all, isn't it?
I think this is now deadline number 5 for them giving us them, which isn't great, but we'll get them eventually.
We will. We've gone through the pain to get those codes. They've got to give them to us.
Absolutely.
Late breaking, we probably don't have enough time to chat about this, Alan. Let's put a pin in it for next week. But Steve on the podcast pub has shared an article about the new Ultra 50/50 campaign to increase female participation in ultra running. And that's such an interesting topic. We covered it a bit last week. Let's cover that one next week, Alan. So let's add it to next week's notes.
We'll do a teaser for them, Ian. A teaser for our listeners.
There we go, a teaser. And on that, I'm going to say it's a goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from me.
Listeners, thank you for listening. You take care. You stay safe. Keep on running. Speak soon. Bye.